Hello and welcome into our channel. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot. I'm Sarah and I'll be your intuitive guide today. We are experiencing a full moon total lunar eclipse today. It is April 14th, May 14th, 2022. This is an eclipse that I spoke about in yesterday's reading, so do go and check that out if you haven't already. And I just wanted to pull some cards here. I know a lot of you, I did some polls last night, and a lot of you, the majority of you actually said you were experiencing extreme fatigue. Some of you said you were experiencing some of the other symptoms, but there's a weakness and a fatigue and an ascension flu that's circulating that's correlated with not only Mercury moving backwards, but also the eclipse season that we're in. So you may find a trend like you have a lot of energy in the beginning of the day and then your energy wanes throughout the day. So you get everything done in the beginning part of the day, or it could be the opposite, or you could be having trouble sleeping at this time. There could be many ways that this will manifest for you. Be very careful with driving. If you have a bicycle like I do, be careful with any sort of heavy machinery, travel, signing the dotted line, things like that. These are just things that you may want to avoid at this time if at all possible, or just be extra careful, because we can't just go around putting our lives on hold when Mercury goes into retrograde. But in particular today and tomorrow, and even through the beginning part of next week, just take it really easy. Drink lots of water. I know I have not been doing that, so you'll be extremely fatigued if you're not drinking enough water and fluids and fresh juices right now. So I'll be drinking some water throughout the reading. And if you are interested in personal sessions, the payment processor on the website is currently down. Should be back up again the beginning of June. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me. There is an email that will be listed below the video. You can reach out to me to book your session. I am also offering my North Node readings. You can read more about that if you're like, what is the North Node reading? It's an astrological reading with cards, and we look into your destined path in this lifetime, the karma, the gifts that you bring from past lifetimes. They're karmic points in astrology, the North and South nodes. It's a really fascinating reading. It's a live reading with me. It's a phone call, 75 minutes long, very detailed. You can ask any questions. It's the only reading I offer right now, and it's the only one I've ever done live. So do take advantage of that. It's a reading for you. So we're not going to focus on the divine counterpart so much, but we're going to focus on you and your journey and the tools that you need to become the fullest potential of yourself. Okay, guys, so let's get started. And one thing while I'm shuffling here, I wanted to mention as well is that Holly and I have made the decision to launch another group. It's not a twin flame group. It will be an Ascension journey group. So we're going to have a coaching group for that, because what's really being highlighted for the rest of 2022, the remainder here, and into 2023 and beyond it's union of self. It's union within the divine masculine, divine feminine within each of us. And there's a much higher purpose to all of these connections. So what we want to do is focus on the ascension journey, assist you with moving through the ascension symptoms, how they're correlated with the chakras, how they're correlated with your purpose, your mission, as well as how to navigate through the changing energies and the shifts that we are experiencing. So stay tuned for more information. We're very excited. It feels very soul-led for us to be delivering that at this time. It'll be a little bit later this summer. Okay, so let's take a look here. Interesting. So yesterday, very interesting. We had the judgment card for the masculines come up. A lot of throat chakra clearings and potential blockages at this time. Trouble speaking as well. So if you hear me stumble over my words, I'd like to thank Mercury retrograde in advance for that. Transformation, the number 33. So 33 being significant for some of you at this time. I'm not a numbers person per se, so I don't know all the meanings, but you can look it up, what 333, the meaning, but it's definitely significant. And we also have emotions and we have gratitude. So I feel like a lot of you are feeling the gratitude for this journey right now, for being on this journey, for being, able to participate in this journey, for having the for your soul making this choice to, walk back into this human shell, if you will, this experience at this present time in humanity, when so many things are shifting and changing, and there's so much movement. There's so much movement in our consciousness. And I also think that the masculines are feeling very grateful for you and for this journey at this time. This lunar eclipse is more gentle. It's exhausting. Don't get me wrong. It's exhausting, but it's more gentle emotionally. So there's more gratitude, less of the anger that you may have felt with the Taurus solar eclipse. Lunar eclipses for me tend to be more gentler anyway than solar eclipses, but it's going to depend on which house this falls into for you. You can look at your rising sign, and from there that'll be your first house, and then you just count the houses until you reach Scorpio, and that's the house that this eclipse will fall in. So if you have Scorpio rising, it's your first house of identity. Massive transformation. But eclipses signal endings and beginnings, as I've been talking about for a while now. But yeah, the transformation that's taking place is within all of us. I feel there is this gentler shift, as I mentioned a few moments ago, with this eclipse, where it's not as intense as other eclipses may have felt emotionally, but it feels very intense physically. So the Ascension symptoms are highlighted with this eclipse, and in particular, the weakness, the exhaustion, the extreme fatigue. It's almost like the inability to keep your mind or your eyes open. I can't even talk. I'm so tired, guys. But there's messages that need to be delivered. So, push through when you feel called to do, but then I'm going to go rest after this. Don't worry. I'm going to go get a pedicure, actually. But yeah, there's this energy of being able to really grapple with your emotions in a much more mature manner is what is coming through. So the longing should have dissipated, or will dissipate here very soon, very shortly. And we're starting to go back to that place, or maybe for some of you, finding this place for the first time on your journey of just unconditional love and gratitude for what has transpired and for the transformation within self. As you guys know, it's interesting. Every time I poll, majority of the people want to hear about the divine masculine, but I really urge you guys to look deeper into understanding this process, understanding this journey. Looking over into their lane doesn't assist us. Curiosity is fine, but there has to be a focus on self first and foremost, because the less work you do, the slower the divine masculine moves towards you. So the focus has to be on self first and foremost, on the inner union of your feminine and masculine, on you merging your dark and your light, you understanding your shadows, doing your shadow work, moving through the dark nights of the soul, moving through whatever trauma healing you need to move through, breaking free of toxic relationships and cycles and patterns and belief systems and thought patterns in your life, and honoring yourself, bringing joy into your own life without expecting something externally, even the counterpart, to fulfill you. They're under no obligation to do so. We're under no obligation to save anybody but ourselves. And that includes especially your divine counterpart. If you're waiting for your counterpart to save you from yourself or from this journey or from your healing, you're going to be waiting a very long time. You're going to be waiting lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes. Your counterpart's role, it never was and never will be to heal you. The counterpart's role is to awaken you to your true self, the true essence of the divine self. And that means you have to strip away everything that you're not. So whatever is in the way of the divine self has to go, has to be released, has to be stripped away. And that's why it feels so painful. It looks painful. It looks toxic to an outsider, because it looks like this person's that's just an abusive relationship. But anyone in a true divine counterpart connection knows that it's not abusive whatsoever, but it does strip away those layers that have kept you comfortable and have kept you from living an authentic life. And that can be painful physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So the divine masculines are moving through that process of massive transformation. They're going to be coming forward with apologies, like I mentioned yesterday, but please do not set a timeline on that or expect the apology to come in a certain way at a certain time. please just release any expectations you have around that, because it's much more likely to move towards you faster if you can do that than having the expectation. Yeah, Divine Feminine, you're being asked to surrender to the transformation process of your counterpart, and that means don't worry about what they're doing over in their lane. Concern yourself with what is happening in your own lane at this time. Now let's see how the masculine is feeling about the feminine. He's feeling a lot of compassion. Yeah, this has been coming in too. What beautiful energies. We have gratitude, compassion, surrender, emotions, transformation, all in one reading. So feminine, you're asked to completely surrender, completely become fluid. Okay, we tap into that watery energy of this lunar eclipse in Scorpio. And the divine masculine is understanding, you know, the journey. That's, guys, please go watch yesterday's reading if you haven't, because it's like an introduction to this reading. These readings are tied together. The compassion element is coming through for the divine masculine so that they can understand what the feminine has gone through, because they're going to feel isolated. They're going to have people start to judge them. That's why the judgment card came up yesterday for them. They're going to have to create their own space for compassion for self, and that will overflow into compassion for you and compassion for what you've been through and all the things that you've shown them and told them over the period of time that you've known each other in the physical, where maybe they doubted you, or they called you crazy, or they just didn't respect or understand the work that you're doing in this world, or the way in which you've chosen to live your life. That is about to shift as they step into greater and greater compassion. But we all know that forgiveness and compassion has to start with self. Has to start with self. So they're going to have to free themselves from judging themselves first and foremost. So that judgment card came up for that reason as well. And they're going to be evolving into higher states of consciousness, higher states of conscious awareness, forgiving themselves for experiences that may have caused suffering to self or to others. And then therefore they can forgive you. Because again, as I've stated in past readings, a lot of times the masculines have blamed the feminine for what they're experiencing. Oh, well, you broke up my marriage, or, you know, the feminine caused me to lose my job, or the feminine caused this or that. And it was easy for them to sort of point the finger. But what really needed to happen was for the divine masculine to open themselves up to see that the feminine was the catalyst for their massive transformation and growth. And they're starting to see that now. As I said yesterday, they have a lot less resistance than they used to this journey. A lot less resistance, a lot more appreciation, understanding, and gratitude, and self-awareness as well, and how they've contributed to their own suffering and to the suffering of others, including you, their divine counterpart. They are definitely in their emotions with this lunar eclipse, guys. Now, this is not like a sign or signal. Oh, Sarah, it's a signal to reach out. No. No. I feel heartbroken because somewhere deep inside, I feel as if I caused this heartbreak. That's where the judgment is coming in. Even if in the 3D reality, I am in denial. Denial of the self and its wants, needs, and desires can cause immense bitterness, displaced resentment, and heartache. That's where the displaced resentment came, because they really want to be with the feminine. They'll tell you, I could do this forever. I could lay here with you forever. I could, you know, be in your arms forever. But the issue with that is the control, right? I feel safe when I'm in control. So this is like two sides of the same coin, if you will. On the one hand, they want to control everything. On the other hand, they know that they need to surrender, and they know that they've caused their own heartbreak and suffering, and they're realizing that it was displaced resentment where they basically projected it onto you and made you the bad guy, made you the aggressor, made you the emotionally violent one, if you will, when it was actually them who was causing themselves the grief and heartache by not accepting the divine gift that was this connection. You may have done that yourself as well. This could be applied to your inner divine masculine. So they're realizing that they have to put themselves first. They're realizing that, as the card says, it's not selfish to feed yourself. It's not selfish, it's necessary. They're learning to surrender to the bigger picture and to know that this journey is bigger than themselves. It's bigger than the money or the planes or the traveling. It's bigger than their ego. It's bigger than their wants and desires. And the feminine and the masculine, we're here together at this time to balance out these energies and bring in harmony, bring in harmonious union, bring in alignment. And this is a big mission, right? The mission is love. The mission is surrender. The mission is forgiveness. The mission is releasing control. The mission is the healing of codependency, the healing of abandonment, the healing of rejection. These are big, big things. And when we heal it, when the Twin Flame Collective heals it, the world heals it. So it's very, very intense energies that we're moving through at this time on this planet, in this connection, in these connections, and not to be taken lightly, guys, not to be taken lightly. You have a powerful mission beyond the romantic aspect. You must grasp that, or you will never learn the true meaning of this connection. If you're struggling, reach out. We can set up a session. Codependency, this is for the feminine. I need you. This is where the feminine says, I need you. I have to be with you to be happy. I don't know, like, you're the only one that I want. You're the only one that fulfills me. You can want somebody or something, but not need them. You really don't need them. This is a distorted belief system or illusion. You don't need anyone. Anything that you believe someone can provide for you, you can provide for yourself. Whatever it is, when we think we're in love with like karmics, and we think, oh, I'm in love with that person, and oh my gosh, and they're so adventurous. Well, you're falling in love with the adventurous side of yourself. That's what's happening in those situations. You're falling in love with that side of yourself that may be dormant, that just needs to be released. And that person is showing you that there is a way to live like this. There is a way to embody this and embrace this. It's not about the person. It's about what they represent within yourself. You do not need anyone for anything. Healthy relationships are not built on the foundation of need. They are built on healthy energetic balance. So how is it that you're going to balance out this feeling, like this feeling of need? And for those of you who answered, you want to hear more about the divine masculine, I would urge you, trigger warning, but I would urge you to work on your codependency of why you feel like you need to know what they're doing, or you need to look over kind of in their yard or in their fence or in their lane, if you will, and check in on them, because that's a form of codependency. Because the true healed divine feminine, yeah, you might be curious once in a while, but the true healed divine feminine understands and knows and trust that the masculine is doing their job and their work, because you're doing your job and your work. You're more focused on what's right in front of you. You're more focused on the path in front of you, the people in front of you, the experiences that you can have in this moment today, versus when is the masculine going to come back, or what are they doing, or when are they leaving the karmic, or what does this mean when they did this, or what does this mean when they said that. You're hurting yourself by focusing on the counterpart. So let go of your own control issues, feminine. This is what lunar eclipse in Scorpio will teach you how to let go of control issues. That's exactly, I have a lifetime of learning about that as a Scorpio sun and a Scorpio Venus. You will be taught how to let go, whether you like it or not. So try to plunge into that divine feminine. Understand the true nature of this cosmic connection. This is a cosmic divine connection. This is not a connection based on, the physical 3D matrix. This is a connection based in the higher realms. You're connected to your counterpart at all times. You're connected to the cosmic intelligence. You're connected to the divine. All you have to do to raise your vibration is to look within. This is an inner job. This whole journey is an inner job. Your counterpart is a direct reflection of you on the inside. When you truly understand that, everything shifts. It's not like a soulmate. Your counterpart is you in another body. When you understand that, when you truly grasp that concept and it clicks into place, everything shifts, everything changes, everything gets easier. The more you look outside of yourself for this joy, this love, this connection, this wholeness, the more your counterpart is going to show you what's lacking within you by being absent. So if you truly think you want your counterpart in this lifetime, if you truly feel like, I want that connection, I want that 3D relationship, I want that marriage, I want the whatever it is, time to look within, time to do that inner work. Just dig in, get your fingers dirty, get your hands dirty, and settle in, because it's going to be a journey. It's not a destination. It's not a sprint. It's not going to happen, in weeks. It's going to take time to unravel everything, divine feminine. So at the core of all of this, you are learning that you have learned from the challenges, you've learned from the obstacles, you've learned from the periods of separation, you've learned from the pain, you've learned from your joy, you've learned from disappointment, you've learned from fear, you've learned from doing, you've learned from not doing. But the universal energy of love is sending you other cosmic connections, and they want you to understand that you are love. You don't need to go seeking it outside of yourself in the form of your counterpart. You already are love. You are the embodiment of love. You are pure consciousness. So I'm going to leave the reading at that, guys, for the sake of my own energy, because I am quite depleted as well today. But I hope that this has brought clarity. If it triggered you, let it heal you. Don't blame the messenger. I'm just the messenger. I'm here to assist you guys and help you heal and help you move past some of those tougher stages of the journey that can really leave you in a place of longing, leave you in a place of despair, a place of disappointment. Those are not places that you want to remain in. You can't move forward from those places. So let's do this together, guys. Let's shift ourselves. Let's shift our connections. Let's shift the world, our neighborhoods, our communities, and the world. Let's create that beautiful ripple effect. Much, much love on this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, guys. And I will talk to you very, very soon.